I'm Kaylee, and today I'm reviewing William Shakespeare's Julius Caesar. This is my second time reading Julius Caesar, and I really enjoyed it. But before we dive into all my thoughts about Julius Caesar, I'm going to reach back here to our Booktuber Shoutout book, and we'll shout out somebody randomly. Today's shout out goes to Charlotte over at Connie Reads. I will leave a link to their channel in the description. Be sure to go over and subscribe to them. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up if you love Shakespeare like I do. And follow me over on Instagram and Goodreads and Storygraph and all the places. So I picked up Julius Caesar as part of the Shaketember Readathon. I will leave links in the description to the Shaketember Readathon and the hosts and the announcement videos and everything. This dovetails perfectly with the 30 Books in 30 Days Readathon because Shakespeare is a quick and easy read. Julius Caesar has so many wonderful, quotable lines. Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. There's just so many good, iconic scenes, beautiful lines, powerful, strong characters. This is definitely one of my favorites from the Bard. One of the things I like about Julius Caesar is it's surprisingly easy to read. A lot of Shakespeare's other plays have flights of fancy and long poems about the moon, but this one is very straightforward, very to the point, and lots of action is always happening. It has relatively concise dialogue, and the characters a lot of the time are just describing action that is going on. I am going to assume that everybody knows that certain people die in this play. I mean, you know, it's been a few hundred years since this was written, and I feel like the story of Julius Caesar is pretty well known. So I'm just gonna continue with some basic spoilers, assuming that everybody knows the basic plot of Julius Caesar. If you are just like, no, I don't want to be spoiled, then goodbye and thank you for visiting, and come back later when you've read it. One of the things that makes this play so dramatic is all the sneaking around that everybody does. There are these secret meetings and cryptic notes and lots of intrigue, lots of like political machinations as people strive for power. And it just makes for great drama. I feel like the two biggest characters that are really like juxtaposed against each other are Brutus and Antony. And then they're kind of playing monkey in the middle with Julius Caesar in the middle. Brutus has some really marvelous speeches about honor and comradeship and patriotism and the glory of Rome. And Antony fairly breaks your heart, eulogizing Julius Caesar. Each of these men are charismatic in their own way with their own type of flair. Out of all the conspirators, Brutus is the only one who killed Caesar from patriotism. The others all have some sort of jealousy or feud against Caesar, but Brutus acted to preserve the freedom of his country. Both Brutus and Antony are honorable, but their perspectives are so widely different that they end up as enemies. Brutus was convinced that Julius Caesar was a tyrant, but Antony saw him as a just and wise and generous ruler. I just love that this play shows both perspectives. We get to see such a wide range of qualities from all of these characters. And I love the added touch of supernatural events forewarning Caesar of his death. There are superstitious dreams and prophecies and lots of weird things happening around the city. And then later on, Caesar's sinister ghost haunts Brutus on the battlefield. It just makes the play so much darker and portentous. I do wish that there were more lines for the female characters, but the scenes that they do have are very powerful and memorable. I like how Portia reprimands Brutus for not telling her the things that he is planning when he's conspiring to kill Caesar. She can tell that he is up to something, and she's really angry that he has not included her. And I love the scene of Calpurnia trying to convince Julius Caesar to stay at home because she had a bad dream. She is very persuasive, and she would have saved his life that day if it weren't for that stinking traitor Decius. That meddling Decius had to come in and convince Caesar to go to the Senate that day. I also really like the exploration of different philosophical viewpoints. So Brutus is well known as a Stoic, and Cassius is an Epicurean, and their philosophies are tested to the limit. Brutus hears of his wife's suicide, and he philosophically says something like, well, we all have to die sometime, so why not now? But he is obviously distraught over his wife's death. And I think he's questioning his own philosophy of life at this point. And in the end, Cassius is also disillusioned with his philosophy. They both lose hope because they're thinking their philosophies are not based on truth. I definitely could have done without all these honorable assisted suicides at the end. Of course, it works with the history and the battlefield and everything. And naturally, it's Shakespeare, so you can't have a tragedy unless 90% of the cast is dead at the end of the play. It's especially pathetic when Cassius commits suicide by mistake. Every time I read that, I'm just like, Cassius, you idiot, you stupid idiot. You couldn't wait 5 seconds to see whether it was the enemy or not. So what happens is he thinks that his friend on this next hilltop is being overrun by the enemy. And he hears them shouting, when actually his friend is being welcomed by their own troops. But Cassius assumes the worst and kills himself. What an idiot. It almost makes me sad for him. Almost. There are just so many good things in this play. Explorations of human pride and lust for power and deceit. It's really dramatic, and I always give it 5 stars. Please leave me a comment and let me know what is one of your favorite Shakespearean plays. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, and remember, the right book in the right hands at the right time can change the world.